Hi there, this is Linda from North Central Texas, getting back with you. I guess some of you wonder, well, in this heat, why are you doing all this? I said, well, our first frost date for the area that I'm in is actually November 7th, believe it or not. And our last frost date is like March 12th. So I've still got quite a bit of time to plant stuff and have it produce and grow, and do well between now and our first frost date. I mean, I wish I could grow all winter, but we do get a little bit of a winter here. And as you can see, I do have a dipper. This particular case, I'm dipping it out because I'm putting it in this watering can. And if you've noticed, I've cut the tip of it off right there to make the hole bigger. So if I get any of the debris from my peelings and stuff like that in my water, it comes out that spout. It doesn't stop it up. And I do that because I want all that in my plants when I water them. In this particular case, I had some bell peppers that came up after I had planted other stuff because I gave the bell pepper up. I didn't think it was going to come up at all. And I was thinning that out just like I did some of my other stuff. And I'm going to actually plant them in my cinder block holes. So I thought I'd let you see that. But I do have a few holes that are left open here. If I can get this camera situated, I need a better stand for it, actually. But I pulled these pepper plants out of the other pots where they were growing so thick. And the other day I come through here and I put out compost in the tops of these cinder block holes because, I already had them full of, well, I do the holes just like I do my pots, in case you're interested. I break up little twigs or broken up bark, and I put down in the bottom of these. And then I build it just like I do the totes and the other pots that I do. And I do put a little bit of potting soil in the top. I put native soil in there. Food scraps when I first plant, when I first do the hole, when I first put when I first build the holes, I put food scraps in there. But it's an easy way that you can utilize the holes in your cinder blocks, and you don't have to buy more individual pots to plant in. And I'm going to try to just put one in each hole. And I figured this is a good time to do this because, like I did with the moonflowers, I transplanted some of those on one of my previous videos because they were real thick in the pots and stuff. And I figured it was a real good time to do this because of the fact that we're getting a little bit of rain. And then I just go ahead and water it with my compost tea. I was going to water out here anyway, because I use my compost tea that I water with in between the waterings with just the garden hose. Since we do have water restrictions, and we're not able just to use water every day, so I water with my compost tea in between waterings. I've got Brussels sprouts and stuff growing there. And I do have an empty pot down there. I think I'll take this little pepper, put it right down there in that pot. I don't remember what I had in there, but it didn't survive the heat. Now, if all those plants, bell pepper plants, survive that I've got planted around the yard, then I should get plenty of bell pepper in a little bit. See, I've got a couple more of these. Be able to put one right there. This will make them work for me, since I've already built up the dirt and stuff in them. Like I said, though, I probably do need to come back and put a little bit more compost in the top of that. Seemed like I had one or two over here on the other side. Oh, I think I got one. Well, I've already got a pepper plant in there. I can put something down in here, though. And with these cinder block holes, see, they can actually, when they get down to the bottom of the cinder block, they can actually keep going and go right into the ground. That's what's kind of good about planting anything in the cinder block hole. And I'll have to get a stake, I guess, and stake that one up. Well, I could break it off. And I do go around from time to time and pick off the leaves that are still halfway green and put them out to my, or put them in my compost tea buckets. And see, I've got some more empty holes there that I think I'm going to plant some brassicas in. I'll have to thin out some more of my brassicas. Like right here in this bucket. This actually came up from under that pot. It's not really doing too good under there because there's too many. Too many in there. I can get that to cooperate. May fall over. But, like I said, since I've already fixed these, I just as well make them work for me. And that was another case where I had planted seed. I'm going to put this one down in this big pot next to this tomato bush. That piece can go in my compost bucket. But there's the tub that I planted the other day in my video. If you remember. Can't get a good shot of it. But they're living pretty good. And my moringa tree, look. That thing is, I guess, a good 4 foot tall or taller. And like I said, that just came back up from the root this year. It had died down, nothing but the root left in the pot. So anyway, check your first frost dates in your area, or your first frost dates for when your garden season ends, and then check your frost dates for when the frost stops, which, like I said, mine is March 12th. So usually I've got everything planted for my summer garden by the second week in March. And then I grow right on up till the first frost date here, which, like I said, is November 7th. Sometimes it's in October, but this year they say it's November 7th. So I should get a pretty good growing season from now until our first frost date. And one reason a lot of you would probably wonder why I don't pick all of this debris, dried leaves and stuff off of my plants. I honestly have found that here in Texas, if you break too much of this off, it'll actually kill your plant from the heat. So during the hottest time of the year, of the summer, when it's just drying my leaves up like this, I leave them on. And that kind of helps the plant, because it'll keep burning this tip up, and usually the bottom of the plant will survive. Just like that. I don't know if you can see that down there. But there's new growth coming out from the pot. But I've cut it way back in the years in the past, and I've actually lost my tomato plants. So now I don't do that. I know it looks kind of bad, especially that one back over here. It looks kind of bad because it's all brown and burnt up. But it'll spring back. I'm not going to cut it off because I don't want it to kill it. So we'll see what happens. And my poor cucumber vine is going crazy back there. I've been trying to stake it up on the trellises and let it grow with the tomatoes. I just hope it puts me out some more cucumbers. I got some the first of the growing season until it got too hot. And then I actually missed some cucumbers. And I actually Had some that turned completely white. They looked like they cooked on the vine. But they were like 6 inches long and about 2 or 3 inches in diameter. So they're pretty big size cucumbers. And my raspberry plant back there, it's struggling in this heat since I put it in a pot. I had it in the ground, but I was afraid it was going to cause problems with the roots where it's planted, so I put it in that big pot. But it was the heat. I mean, it's still alive. It's just, it don't like this intense heat that we've had this summer. I'm hoping it'll really spring back and do something next year. And here's some more tomato plants I've got to tie up. And if I would stop putting my fingers over the camera lens when I try to adjust this camera, well, I was going to try to show you what I was talking about here. Like these are all the way up to the top. I need to get some cord and tie it up. Yeah, but you just think, I know I don't live in California, so I can't grow stuff year round out here in the yard, because we do get a little bit of winter time and it'll kill plants. But I try to make the most of the growing season that we do have, which is usually from the 1st of March till the 1st of November. So with that, I hope everybody has a blessed day. If you love gardening as much as I do, I mean, I came from an area where everybody gardened. I mean, it was just a thing to do. And I went stir crazy for the first year I lived out here, because I couldn't figure out how to grow vegetables or anything else in this heat. But I got stuff growing now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can grow it in the ground if we get a good rainy season the beginning of March or the last of February and the ground's soft. Because I always had planted my garden, my squash, my cucumbers, all that stuff right out here. Right where you see that one little okra plant in the middle over there. But this year it's been so dry. The ground was so hard I couldn't even dig a hole. I mean, before was able to dig holes enough to plant seed and stuff between the rocks and boulders that's out here. But this year I couldn't do that. It was like trying to dig through concrete. So I gave up and I said, well, I'm just going to plant stuff in pots and see what happens. But you see, my planter pots are doing good. I mean, they've sprung back. And I don't know. The watermelon vine down here is struggling. Well, if I can get this camera angled right to where you can see. I've got watermelon and cantaloupe coming out of those pots down here at the bottom. Like I said, I got peppers up here. I planted a pepper in there. I guess I need to pull out another one and stick it in there, down there. And there are my walking onions that I planted. They're up a couple of inches tall. And they're a perennial. They'll come back up next year as long as you don't pull the bulbs up. I like the green tops. I like to take the green tops of the onions and chop them up and put them in a lot of different foods. Like tonight, I had chopped them up and some of them up and had put them in some salmon. I made salmon patties. But anyway, like I said, check your frost dates in your area and see what you're able to do. and get out there and grow something. I just love to do it. I mean, even if I didn't get a lot of food out of it, which sometimes I don't, especially this year I haven't. I mean, I got a ton of tomatoes the first of the summer because I made a lot of them into spaghetti sauce or tomato sauce. And I had like 6 or 7 small containers of tomato sauce in the freezer that is so good to take out and just put on your spaghetti. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, the stuff you buy is good, but you can't beat homemade tomato sauce for spaghetti sauce out of tomatoes from your garden. Well, with that, I'm going to let you go. I got to get back to my watering because I've got all this to water this evening. And if you like what you see, like my videos, share my videos, and subscribe to my videos. And I'll get back with you on the next one. You have a blessed evening.